Twaraka ne tondorere ito turi agikoyo ogwo kuga amaundu maciari are ndanaria maundu mega Kimanyua Icung'wa na ne to aturaihiriirie muno ne ndauga Kimanyua Icung'wa tondu areria maundu macio gwake gikuyu no kwamenya ni aria oru muno itire handu tungumunyita mbaru atio kiaruma ne guku tondu ake nake onake president witu nake ndagatwirire kindu atagutukinyaniria tondu gutwiraga tutugutaramuka tuthondeke barabara ithu maheni tutikuhota kuherio ogwo araugiria kwenda kuhenio matuko ma kuhenio ri ne tukireketie maheni kogwo ri aria no ndu ahingie tondu tigo tuhenagia ndaigwa asare ndaigwa makiuga atiriri tondu horo wa gutwira barabara auga barabara no thio etwanagia maundu na ciiko ithu kunoga ne tunogete turenda gwika undu na ciiko tureka ndaiguire agikinya kundu kungi akauga atiriri ati ndoi ndamenyire rigathi akiingatwo bunge ati mahitanitie na bunge make turamenya mau ni maheni matheri tondu niwe wabangaga wakere ndaigwa ati nake ndende ne muruto wake ni kumwaka aramwaka araka ndende riria muingatite ite-ini ogwo ri no gari twamunyita goko no tutie na kundu turenda niake ciiko ikakate no kurari twina cio mihuko tutwecerei.
Welcome once again to Havana Media. My name is Boniface Owino, and as usual I'm going to be your host for today. Now, I've got 3 stories to talk about here. Story number 1, I would like by asking this question, that why is it that these people want to make life so much difficult for Mama Mboga and mtu wa boda boda? The government promised that this regime will be a supportive one for both Mama Mboga, mtu wa boda boda and all that. In fact, they were talking about a lower class person, citizen, and right now things are very much different, completely different, and sometimes you wonder what's going on. There is a situation that is happening in Garissa County that I would like us to talk about. There's one of the sheikhs, is really giving a warning to the border borders, that if they are found carrying a woman or a lady who is a Muslim, both of them will receive thorough beating.
Kuanzia leo hatutakubali msichana Msomali Muislamu apande boda boda. Akipatikanwa akipanda boda boda nyuma, msichana pamoja na yule anabeba tunachapa. Kwa hivyo hatukubali kabisa. Garissa umahaleli. Mashallah dumar kana mama kashingabe.
So my question is this. Let's assume that this lady has got no transport, like she has got no money to call for an Uber. I don't even know whether we Ubers are in Garissa County, by the way. You can confirm with me that if they are there. This lady has got no money for Uber. She cannot, she's running late, maybe she's going to work and she's running late. And truth be told, one of the fastest means of transport that right now we have is Nduthi. Like if you are in town, for those who live perhaps maybe in Nairobi, and you have a meeting, let's say for instance in Karen. You've arrived, maybe the meeting is supposed to start at 8:20, and you umefika town at 8. Do you think you will wait, you will go utaenda kwa stage and then you wait for that gari kuja within a period of 20 minutes, and then you ufike meeting in 20 minutes time? Because okay, truth be told, there is no single day you'll ever find that you've boarded a bus and then the bus goes direct to where you're supposed to alight, unless maybe ni gari ambayo aibebi watu kwa barabara. But the cars, the buses and the ones that you use to travel around here, I don't know how some of them operate, but one thing I know is that they must stop at any bus stop. That is a fact. So this guy is telling the Garissa ladies that if we find you on Nduthi, tutakupiga na tupige mtu mwenye kubeba. And I want to say this, that if there are people who really suffer are the Nduthi guys. At one point I had the Tanzanian border borders, the Nduthi guys, the way they were trying to explain how ladies misuse them.
Yeah.
Like a lady goes to him and then she wants to be taken somewhere. She knows very well that she doesn't have transport. So after reaching where they're going, it's at night. So after arriving where they're going, what this lady does is that she's telling the guy that can I pay you using my body because I don't have money? Can I pay using my body?
Kwa ujumla ipo na ipo sana, sio kwamba haipo, ipo. Anakuja abiria usiku hapa, unampakia nipeleka Afrika sana hapo, ukimshusha anakwambia mimi sina hela tumalizane. Sasa ile inatupa ugumu, wakati mgumu, sio kama sisi siwezi kumalizana na wakati mimi na familia yangu, na mimi hiki chombo cha bosi napeleka hesabu, nikimalizana na wewe nitamalizana na wewe wangapi? Kwa hiyo wadada nao watuonee huruma na sisi, sio kwamba hawapo, wapo. Na mimi wanawabeba. Sio kwamba kanawabeba fulani, mimi wenyewe wanawabeba, wapo.
Vishawishi vipo. Na hasa nyakati za usiku naweza ukabeba mtu huenda akawa hana hela au sio, akawa anataka labda mmalizane tu. Wapo wanaoingia, maana wanaofanya kazi usiku mara nyingi wanakuwa ni wale vijana ambao kidogo machachali, kwa hiyo wenyewe wanamalizana tu kama hivyo.
Vishawishi ndo kama hivyo tu, unaviepuka. Ukiona hii hapa, hii sio sawa kwangu kuifanya, unaachana nayo. Ukiona heli utafanya. Wana ndo wanakuambia labda ile nimembeba mtu usiku, aswa usiku ndo najikuta habari kama hizo zinatoka.
So those are the challenges that these bodaboda guys goes through. Even I know even in Kenya we have such kind of scenarios whereby when mtu wa bodaboda you've carried someone and then umefika pale ambapo unafaa kufika after kufika hapo the person is telling you that sina hela but I can pay you, and then you ask yourself, you don't have money, how can you pay me? And then the lady tells you that I can pay you using my body. Are you seeing such kind of scenarios? So I don't know if you're a bodaboda guy, how do you prevent such kind of such kind of things from happening? But truth be told, our bodaboda guys are really suffering. Those guys are suffering, and that is the only means of, any bodaboda, maybe few of them, but most of the bodaboda guys, that Nduthi that you see is not his. At the end of the day, the owner of that Nduthi expect him to take some money. I don't know whether it's normally 350 or 350, 300 to 350 shillings every single day. And then I think in Nairobi it's 500, 400. And then you are a lady, you're being carried, you've been transported, and then you want to pay using your body. After paying using your body, how will that person pay? How will that person convert that to your body, the payment, or maybe the sleeping or the enjoyment that you've gotten to money? Story number 2 is about Muturi. I know this story of Muturi is going viral. People are talking about it. I talked about it in the first video, but now this is now another part. Muturi is trying to explain to us who Ruto really is, and Muturi is saying, is trying to tell us how bills and deals are normally done by the president. Remember when I was asking that why is it that William Ruto cannot allow anybody who maybe thinks that is smart to work with him? Muturi answered my question by saying that if you are someone who asks Ruto, the president, maybe he has told you to maybe go somewhere, take that cup, take it another place, then you ask, why do you want me to take this cup from this place to that place? Mtakosana. So in short, in other words, William Ruto doesn't want anybody who is challenging him. He wants things to be done the way he wants them to be done. And I don't know.
Have done anything?
Do you think that's why
I refused to sign the very explosive. The Auditor General is going to come up with a report on Arol, Kimwarel, and Itare dams, because it's only Itare dam where those Italian contractors are done 26%. Arol, they contract those Italians, and they were paying billions. they only put in a container. In Kimwarel, nothing has ever happened because even the report that came, it has a faults underneath. You can't do it. We can't do the dam there. So remember, he has been doing those things, meetings with the Italian Prime Minister, the President. On 3 occasions, I was invited to accompany the team, but I had read the files and I just felt, no, it's not possible. And then Head of Public Service writes to me a letter that the delegation which is going to go there is going to be led by Adil Kawanja, which is one of those very close friends of the President, the chairman of Safaricom Limited, and then the then DPP, Nurdin Haji, and the former Solicitor General. I assigned some other state councils. I said, what is this? But the country is losing, or has lost actually, over 38 billion shillings. And they still, later they wanted me to sign. I said, I cannot append my signature, not on this.
Can you substantiate all of these allegations that you're making?
Fortunately, I have them on record.
You have paper trail? I
have paper trail. You know, I knew what I was doing. Contrary to what William Ruto may have thought, I am not the kind of person I keep records. Right. And I have all of them. In fact, on soft.
Okay. As Gabi is saying here, invite him another time because I can't even work. I'm just listening to him explain things. We have about 10 minutes. Mariam, there was a question about... Oh, sorry, you're going to ask something.
No, it's just the level of rot that you're exposing is quite high level. It's deep-rooted, deep-seated. Some people would be, you are privy to it. It's only now from the outside that it's a problem.
Yeah, he said it's because he's a gentleman.
Yes, and you said it's because you're a gentleman, but it's hard not to
question.
Yeah.
But you know, like that one, a role.
Yeah.
You know, it is so obvious the Auditor General is going to find out. That's the appropriate office.
Yes.
But because I'm sure the Auditor General is going to ask what was the opinion of the Attorney General.
But were you also, didn't you advise around taxes and SHA? Were you part of, in a sense, the rot that you're exposing?
Let me tell you about this, not just SHA, the 4 laws. When the cabinet memo was brought to us, one morning we were in Kakamega State Lodge for a cabinet meeting by Nakumicha. She brought me like this. I told her, what is this? I cannot sign a cabinet memo just like this. This is not the way to go about it. She told me, CS National Treasurer has already signed. I said, it doesn't matter. She ran to the President, who was then with his Deputy Rigiji at Kakamega State Lodge. Then they called me, and I go and said, I tell them, you know, we cannot do cabinet memos this way. The cabinet, even the cabinet secretary, even the AG, it's not just the AG, it is the office. There are people, and I told you, various departments who have to check through. And it's a lot of consultation. Occasionally, you will sit about 3, 4, 5 people, and I want to know, why did you arrive at this? Why did you yourself, why is it you prefer this? So that we come up with sound legal advice. Now, I'm told, sign. So when she went and reported the President and his deputy, I told them, no, you know what? I can't sign. The President played with me, he told me, you know, JB, we promised people universal health coverage, what. I said, yeah, I am sympathetic to that because for me, it's good for the citizens of this country. But I told him, but you know, this procedure is not right. And besides, I've seen something that purports to be draft bills. If I am going to agree to sign the CAB memo, these draft bills must be forwarded to me as Attorney General to review them with clear drafting instructions as what it is each bill hopes to achieve. That's 2 weeks ago. When this is the process of interviewing chairperson for the IEBC, there's a lady who actually admitted. She's called, she said her name, Wajiko Manegene, one of the candidates. She admitted, you can check, that she says among the consultants she has done with the government is that she is part of the team that drafted the health laws. And she was asked, then you drafted? She said, yes. And after that, where did you take them? We took them to Parliament. you know, took this. For me, I think it came as a surprise because I was going to I was still going to reveal to the world that I never took part, but she actually did it for me. That I kept telling people those bills did not come through the AG's office, because remember even the Council of Governors and a lot of issues with them. And that also some of the things I was pointing out to the president and his deputy then at Kakamega.
Is this evidence you're willing to share?
Yeah.
About the not
about some of the several views you've held.
Yeah.
And any of the allegations, you can share them with us.
Like which one? Now that one, that one, you know, I don't even have to, because
some of it, like the Kakamega one, for example. Can you share that?
You see that one? It is those bills. Okay. They never came through the office of the Attorney General. And we have a fully fledged legislative drafting department of highly competent Kenyans. Some of them 20, 30 years experience in legislative drafting. Very, very highly regarded even within the Commonwealth. But people want to bypass that because of, of course, partisan vested interests. No wonder. Later we come to hear about 104 billion project.
Are there people in cabinet who share the same views that you share, and they're currently in cabinet right now?
I don't know.
You must know.
You know, many of them are very timid. They will not want to. They don't want to speak. In fact, some of them don't want to pick my calls, even on WhatsApp. They are too scared. Many of the cabinet secretaries who are there, they don't want to pick my calls even on WhatsApp. They are too scared that they might be found to have spoken to me. You know, and I know some others who are telling me, please, just get somebody to call
on your behalf.
On your behalf, then we can talk on the other. I mean, so what does that tell you? William Ruto has instilled such fear in the entire cabinet that people don't want to speak. And no, it is live and let live.
McHugh, what is happening in this country? These are not things that can help us in development. How are these things going to develop our country? Right now, what we're supposed to focus on is how is development? How is development going to benefit? I think that is the main thing that now we should be focusing on as a country. As these leaders, the only thing that they're supposed to focus on is the development. Development. How is our country going to develop? People are suffering. How can we change their lives? That is the only thing they're supposed to focus on. After all, guys, that is all for today. Let me know what you think in the comment section, and until we meet again in the next video, if it is possible, I have been your host, Boniface Owino. Bye-bye.